and I will be speaking strictly about the upcoming Liberia's first post-war National Infrastructure Conference. And I believe today when you are on your way here, you had a little bit of problems or luck concerning the traffic congestion today. That's a reminder of why we should host the Liberia's first post-war infrastructure conference. This conference is set to bring about over 300 persons together, including our partners, development partners in the African Development Bank, the World Bank, the European Union, the IFC, and other financial institutions in Liberia, as well as in diaspora. It also had the opportunity to invite international partners from through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the NIC. So our total number of guests we are expecting is around 300 persons. We have 16 international speakers, 33 local speakers, 5 moderators for this conference. So you want to know, what is this conference about? The Post-War Infrastructure Conference is an idea birthed by His Excellency, Honorable Joseph Worker, and the concept was developed around how we can augment national efforts by driving the agenda through other programs. One of the things to look at is the national infrastructure. Infrastructure, in a sense, is for housing and spatial development. I think earlier when the minister was speaking, he was talking about land conflict, and that's a result of spatial developments, land development, land planning. And one of the topics, the first day, that's what we'll speak at the conference with, spatial development. How can we improve our land space and manage our space and plan our space? We'll be discussing that in detail, because without that, most of what we do will be in futile. The second discussion will go on housing and social infrastructure. As you are aware, we all talking about how we need much buildings of school, renovation of school buildings in the right position, hospitals, facilities, and other things. So we will be discussing that also, how we can get investors through public-private partnership. Most of the discussion will be diverse towards climate resilience, how to build climate resilient infrastructure, because as you are aware, whether we like it or not, the world is evolving and climate change is an actual fact. Today you see the amount of rainfall we experience, so if we must build back better. And when we're looking at our infrastructure development, wherever we're discussing, we'll be discussing it from the climate resilient and climate adaptation point. So I'm not an environmentalist, but I'll be speaking as one when balancing, talking about infrastructure development for this forum. We will also look at energy. As part of the national development agenda, energy is one of the things that can drive tourism and drive development. When you put more and you put energy together, every other thing will follow. So we look at energy in its totality, public-private partnership as a catalyst for improving energy access, whether it's renewable energy or it's diesel and fuel energy. But we look at energy in its totality, whether it's being financed through public-private partnership, but making it more sustainable, because all we're doing now is driving from the climate change perspective. So we have international speakers that will be speaking about discussing energy, and we'll be also looking at the investment documents that was made. At the end of this conference, before the conference started, we'll be producing our investment brochure on Liberian infrastructure. So the brochure, all the institution has submitted the investment plans, and it is being submitted to NIC also. So the third day we'll be discussing growth as a catalyst for infrastructure development. And now, you can't do anything. If you build all the fine hospitals, like White Elephant Project, to support build hospitals in places that is inaccessible, so you don't have access to those facilities, even though they are still the large facility, but they are inaccessible, you can't get them, they have to reach. So we are looking at growth as a catalyst for infrastructure development and economic growth. So those words we hear all through the conference as a catalyst for economic development and economic growth. Those two things will all work parallel, and as well as climate resilience. The fourth day we'll be looking at water and sanitation. Water is life, whether we want to discuss it or not, that's a fact. And providing clean drinking water is not only a priority of the government, but it's also a sustainable development goal that must be reached. And for us to achieve that, we must look at modalities in ways as far as how we can make water, clean water, safe water, affordable and accessible to all Liberians. So we must look at, because the truth of the matter is, investment in the water sector will be high, but can we really pay for the water right now in return when it comes to public safety? You prefer to buy electricity as a Liberian and pay for water. So we discussed it because you see water is so quite vast, how we can bring digitalization to the water sector, what we can do, what we innovation is around the world, around the globe, that we can bring to the water sector to make the water sector, the investment in the water sector to be attractive. We will look at that also. The last issue we'll be discussing is the environment. We can't discuss all of these development without access or talking about the environment. We will be discussing the environment on day 5. So, someone will ask, when is this conference? The conference is to be held from December 8th to the 12th in Ganta, Nima County. We chose this location because we wanted the conference for it to be a discussion where people can really sit and focus and actually analyze and discuss without the distraction from going back to work and having things to do in the office. So we want people to focus and let's have a frank conversation. Moreover, we want to show our international partner what it's like to be outside of this city. Mauritius is not the only place in Liberia. And we want to show touristic attraction also to our international guests that we have. So we'll be driving the road. At the end of the day, the last day, we'll be driving the road towards going there to show people what is there for investment, how the country is open for investment. We'll be doing that as part of the day to show tourism out. There are 3 national speakers from the different institutions. So we have the Land Authority as part of the planning committee, the MICA chairs, the Publicity and Awareness Committee and Communication Committee. We have RREA, so the energy sector is represented by LEC and RREA. Liberia Water and Soil Corporation is also part of the planning committee. We have LIA, Liberia Land Authority is also part of the planning committee. The Ministry of Public Works chairs the committee. Actually, my boss, I'm just the coordinator. My boss is the actual chair for this committee or the program on a rural affairs gains. And we are on our way paying for the program. We have GSA that is coordinating, GSA and NTA that is coordinating all logistics for the program. So it's not Ministry of Public Works sitting at the time and just dictating to the committee what it is to do, but we are giving other actors to do their function. In terms of coordinating investors, is NIC and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get the diaspora of investors and other partners on board for the conference. Our objective for this conference is to showcase that we are open for business, that we have a lot of things to invest in. For example, we have interest in our national historical infrastructure, the Hotel Africa, the former bank that was on Europe Bank that was on Broad Street, all public buildings that are going to be dilapidated. We are looking at showcasing those drawings that have been collected by Public Works is currently being digitized by the ministry to make it an actual AutoCAD files so we can have it that when people come for the drawings to say, okay, if this building was like this, how can we get the plane? So we're going to put the plane in digital files. But those are the things that we're discussing. Because we can't discuss national infrastructure when you have a lot of old buildings that are historical buildings that you can maintain and you can bring up to date. So the conference will be looking at that. The conference will also be looking at housing. Why are we discussing housing? National housing is also part of this thing. We realize that the cost for construction of a house, on the average, will cost nothing less than $65,000 if you want to build a more than 3-bedroom house. From market analysis. It will range from $35,000 to $65,000 depending on what you want, the construction material and what you want to build your house with. But there are other technologies that are available that will reduce the housing cost with zero waste. There are companies that have those technologies. So if we open our housing sector up, bring in people to discuss modern technologies for housing, affordable housing, low-income housing, that people can be able to afford and own a house through whatever needs and schemes, bringing in private investors in the housing sector, we can improve the livelihood of the ordinary Liberians. And that is what we're discussing at the conference. Investment in the housing sector. So when you see all our discussion is not geared towards, it's looking at the problem we have currently and addressing it through public-private partnership. The IRC is available will be available at the conference. The World Bank Country Manager is also will be a panelist at the conference, looking at how public-private partnership, investment in the sector can improve the livelihood. Because their mind will say from the onset that this is about how we can improve economic growth through infrastructure development. Because it's parallel, they're on the same path. If you improve infrastructure, you will improve economic growth. And we have seen it. With the improvement of the local area from sectors from beginning to sectors, last our community services, the estimated of community service was in Riverside. And unfortunately, for the first time, all the releases in Rice Press did not cross to be $6,000 or over. That's a fact. People in Grand Cruz said the same thing. He met thin cheese and was giving the analysis that they think the municipal was because their commodity for booze did not go above the regular price. So now you see that it's directly parallel. If we can improve infrastructure development, will improve economic growth. So that's what we're looking at for this conference. How we can deliver substantial economic development bringing in private sector, looking mostly whether it's local investor or international investor, but it's actually looking at public-private partnership. As you're aware, and maybe you may not be aware, every time you sit in a donor meeting these days, they tell you donor financing are depleting, donor financing depleting, donor financing depleting. So if donor financing is depleting, then we must look at other ways to address our own issue and solve our own problems, except for looking at donor financing. So this is the conversation that we'll be having at the National Infrastructure Conference, looking at how we ourselves can mobilize domestic resources, local partners to build our country. With that, I have spoken about the conference. You know when the conference will be, where it will be, how many persons we're expecting, and the top of the next thing is the guest speaker for the conference will be the Minister for Public Works, Water Resources for Ghana, is Honorable Kenneth Aji.